The Table of Nations in chapter 10 informs us that it was Nimrod, the son of Cush and grandson of Ham, who founded his kingdom in Babel in the land of Shinar. It was Nimrod and his family who populated the land of Shinar, his assigned inheritance, discovered the plain, and began to build a city and a tower. The other families and nations listed in the table likewise dispersed to their various assigned lands and isles of the sea. The story of the tower focuses only on the people in the land of Shinar and not the population of the entire world. When the Lord came down, as the record states, he did so to look at only those who were building the tower and none else. Jewish legend relates that a mob of 600,000 men built the great tower. The millions of people living on the earth did not participate in the construction project. Besides, it is hardly reasonable to believe that the land of Shinar could have accommodated the entire population of humanity. It was the people of Shinar that were one and had one language, not the entire human race. That one language was not the language of Adam, but the language of Nimrod. The Lord was not pleased with the arrogant presumption of building a tower to heaven. He came down and confounded their language so that they could not understand each other. The building of the tower was abandoned, and the Lord scattered the builders abroad. The consensual interpretation of the confusion of tongues, as it is called, is that God first caused the original language of mankind to be forgotten, and then gave mankind an assortment of new languages. Afterwards, the families of men scattered themselves throughout the world. Orson Pratt propounded this interpretation from the pulpit in Salt Lake City. This line of thought can be traced back in history centuries before the birth of Christ. The Babylonian astronomer Berosus, as quoted by Eusebius, wrote that it was at the building of the tower at Babylon the gods introduced a diversity of tongues to mankind. However, there is another explanation for the confusion, one that takes the approach of allowing the text to speak for itself without change, addition, or subtraction. The narrative is actually quite simple and straightforward when the words are allowed to speak for themselves. To begin with, the name of the event must reflect the actual wording of the text itself, without introducing any preconceived notions of its interpretation. To call the event the confusion of tongues is a misnomer. It assumes that there was more than one tongue confused, or that the confusion introduced additional languages. But the text does not indicate that more than one language was involved, either during the event or as a consequence of the event. If the text itself is to be used as the basis for the name of the event, it should be called the confounding of language.